Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So in today's episode, my plants need a fertilize. So I'm going to do that with you guys today and show you the best way that I have found to fertilize all my plants quickly and efficiently. Fertilizing your house plants is really important because just like you and me, they need food for them to be able to grow and thrive. If you're not fertilizing your house plants enough, then they're not going to be getting the nutrients they need to support their growth. So there are three main ingredients in fertilizer that you need to be aware of, and they are nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium. If you don't have your houseplants on a fertilizing schedule, then you might notice that the growth is a bit stunted and the leaves are looking a bit faded. This is because the houseplant doesn't have enough nitrogen. So nitrogen is one of the three main ingredients in fertilizer. Nitrogen helps the plant push out new growth, and it supports healthy foliage on your house plants. Potassium is the second main ingredient in fertilizer, and that kind of supports the growth of flowers and fruits on your plants. And it also helps toughen up your plants against the threat of pests and disease. The third ingredient in plant fertilizer is phosphorus. Phosphorus is the ingredient that helps your plant's roots develop and also helps your plant photosynthesize and store energy. So another really important ingredient. As well as those three macro ingredients, there are other micro ingredients that you often find in your fertilizer that you can buy in your shop. This one that I use has things like, copper, iron, zinc, magnesium, and these are just micro ingredients to really help your plants thrive and push out new growth. So like I say, I use Miracle-Gro all-purpose fertilizer. You can use this for both indoors and outdoors. I use this for my indoor plants. It's a water-soluble fertilizer, so it's really easy to use. I'm going to be showing you how to use this, how I go about fertilizing my plants. When you're using a water-soluble fertilizer, just make sure you're following the dosage ingredients on the packets. For this guy here, the Miracle-Gro, the dosage for indoor plants and outdoor plants is different. More diluted for indoor plants because they don't want to be taking on too much nutrients because they're not outside in the sun. So during the growing season of the plants, so during spring and summer, it's a good idea to have your plants on a fertilizer schedule. That's what I have. I fertilize my plants once a month during the spring and summer months, and I have a reminder set up on my phone just to remind me when it's time to fertilize my plants. Try not to fertilize your plants too often. Don't go for 2 or 3 times a month because this is going to be too much nutrients for the plants to take up, but it's not going to like it. Your plant's leaves are going to start to turn yellow, maybe a bit mushy. You might get some leaf drops, so it's a good idea to just fertilize once a month at the most. I don't bother fertilizing my plants in the winter because they're not actively growing, so they don't need to take on nutrients that they need in the spring and summer to support their growth. So I normally start my fertilizing schedule in March. Today is the 19th of February, so I'm a couple of weeks early, but I just wanted to get this video out to you guys so you can start fertilizing your plants in good time. My last fertilization of the year will probably be in early November, just as winter is coming around and the plant's growth dramatically slows as it goes into winter. It doesn't need fertilizer during those months. So I think now we'll go over and start my first batch and start fertilizing my plants. Okay then guys, so let's start by mixing up my first batch. As you can see here on the dosage instructions, for outdoor plants, it says mix 1 large spoonful, 15 milliliters to 4.5 liters of water. And then for house plants, mix 1 small spoonful, 1.25 milliliters to 1 liter of water. So this watering can is about 1 liter. I think it's exactly 1 liter. So I'll be adding 1 small spoonful to that, adding water, and I'll be fertilizing my plants. So with Miracle-Gro, comes in a bag, kind of this luminous blue powder. Some water's got in this pack. It should be a powder, but some water's got in here to make it a bit moist, but it doesn't really matter. And then it always comes with a helpful spoon. So that one is your 4.5 milliliters for outdoor plants, and then this is your smaller spoon for indoor plants, 1.25 milliliters. So all I'm going to do is just spoonful like that, pop it in the bottom of my watering can, and then fill her up with water. I fill her up about halfway, give it a swish around just to mix it up a little bit, and fill it up to the top. And there she is, mixed. So I've got 3 plants on my kitchen windowsill. I've got the philodendron birkin, I've got a syngonium, and I've got this type of succulent that flowers in the winter. As you can see with this plant, it's got some yellow leaves at the base. I might just pull that off actually. So I think that might be a nutrient deficiency, so it's a good job that I'm fertilizing here. So I bottom water on my houseplants, so I apply the same principle when I'm fertilizing. I've got a video on why I bottom water my houseplants. I just come through, add my mixture to the bottom of the plant, give it a healthy dose so it can soak up all those nutrients. I'll do this one like so, and then I'll do my birkin, add the mixture to the decorative pot, and then that should soak up all those macro and micronutrients. So up here I've got a Hoya that needs some nutrients, so I'll just add some to that. And I've got a type of Echeveria here. Add a little bit there because it's quite a small pot. So in my dining room here, next to my east facing window, I've got a good selection of plants. I'm just gonna add some to this Ficus elastica rubber tree plant. When you're fertilizing your plants, you don't want the soil of your plant to be absolutely bone dry. You do want it to be slightly moist because that improves the uptake of the nutrients for the plants. So as you can see, really simple for me to go around and just fertilize at the bottom of these pots. Got my Tradescantia Nanook that needs a top up. Some cuttings of my snake plants. Philodendron lemon and lime, really nice plant. Looking a little bit faded, so probably does need a top up of fertilizer as it comes out of the winter. This guy is a Hoya. This is a brand new plant that I've just bought from the store, so I'm not going to fertilize that because I don't know when it was last fertilized. So it's important not to fertilize your new plants. I've got a video on what not to do with your new house plants, and I'll go over that. So I've got some nice plants on my mantelpiece here in my dining room. Just gonna top up this snake plant, this syngonium. This doesn't have a nursery pot, so I'm just putting the fertilizer directly in. Same with this Monstera adansoni. This one doesn't have a nursery pot either, type of Califea. I like this Califea. It doesn't have very many crispy edges, seems to be quite happy without so much humidity, so quite rare for a Califea. And then over here we've got my Ficus benjamina, which is looking a bit sad after the winter, so hopefully a fertilizer should perk that up. Got this type of peperomia obtusifolia. Got a video on how to propagate this. This guy is a new plant for me, Aglaonema. So I'm not going to fertilise that because I don't know when it was last fertilised, so I'm going to leave that a couple of months at least. In my living room I've got this little grow light set up for propagations that I have on the go. So I'm just going to top up this. This is a type of Califea that I'm nursing back to full health. Got a spider plant here, a young one that I propagated. Got this Tradescantia tricolour. This is a propagation, so it's not been fertilised, so I'll give that a go. Type of peperomia, and then I've got my philodendron Brazil. On this hanger in my living room, I've got this spider plant, so this always responds quite well to being fertilised. The leaves tend to go a bit darker, a bit more green. Down here next to this blue sofa, I've got my Califea that I recently potted up. Got a video on that. So I'll just add some fertiliser here, put a little bit more than my other plants because it's in quite a large pot. I'm making sure to water all around the pot so all the roots in here get an equal amount of fertiliser. Put some in the middle as well. So I probably used about half a can on that one. So down here I have my Sprawling Monstera Deliciosa. I've had a few years. I'll soak that up nicely. Down here is a peace lily. Give that a good top up. On my windowsill in my bedroom I've got this Echeveria, as you can see, starting to flower nicely, so we'll give it a boost by giving it some fertilizer like so, and that should support the flowers that it's pushing out. So the last 2 house plants that I'm fertilizing today, got left to fertilize, is this type of jade. Leaves are looking a little bit yellow, as you can see, so hopefully with the fertilizer I've added it should perk up, go a little bit greener. And then in here my succulent mix, I'm just going to add some to that. That's all of my plants fertilized, I think. As we're heading into spring, respond by pushing out strong, healthy growth. So I hope you enjoyed that video, guys. I hope you found it useful, how I fertilize my plants. A really easy process if you have a water-soluble fertilizer like I do. If you have any comments about what I've done here today, leave it in the comments section. Let me know which fertilizer you prefer, whether you prefer water-soluble fertilizer or whether you use granular. Subscribe to the channel to be notified when content like this comes out, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you very much.